What is up, HBL? This is your favorite admin, AP5, joined by our one and only Nathaniel, the PR GOAT.
I am indeed. That is me.
And we are here today with something a little bit different from the regular stuff we've been putting out, right? We're going to talk today
Hmm.
about the award races. Because here we are halfway through the season, and I mean, things are starting to heat up a little bit. So, what we're going to do here is we've decided on a couple of awards that we're going to hand out. You'll see them on your screen right now. We've got the seventh Pokemon of the year. This is a Pokemon that has come to less than half of the games. Is that what we decided on?
I think for now, since we're only 6 games into the season, is three. But when we decide the award, it'll be at least 4 games, but at most 6 games.
Got it. So if you know basketball, it's your sixth man of the year kind of award.
Hmm.
Then we've got our surprise Pokemon of the year, which we're not going to talk about. Or surprise of the year Pokemon A Coach. We're not going to talk about that in this video. We'll talk about that at the end of the year. But just some fun little awards that we're going to hand out. We got Offensive Pokemon of the Year, which pretty self-explanatory. Defensive Pokemon of the Year. Coach of the Year, which again, we're not talking about that one day, but we will cover that at the end. And then finally, the MVP, the most valuable Pokemon.
Very important.
Absolutely. As you see at the bottom of the screen, these awards are decided by a combination of the stats that I am tracking and the storylines which Nate is tracking. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep. I think a really important thing about storylines is that specifically some of the mons that have like high stats in some areas, but then I'll watch when I go over replays and I'll write PRs. I hardly remember that these mons even exist, other than the two numbers that are like the KAD, and then sometimes I'll remember differential. So some
Talking
mons are
about
just
you, Tapu Fini.
Tapu Fini, Megadino,
Sorry, Galactic.
sorry, Galactic, but that's how it is, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just like Tapu Fini, picking up 3,000 kills in 2 weeks. Megadino picking up was
At
it
least
eight
seven.
kills?
7 or 8
Like
kills for
it,
forfeits.
yeah, a lot of kills from forfeits. It's just certain ones that just have good stats, but no real impact, stuff like that.
Right. So what we're gonna do, as he just explained, we're gonna take those storylines, combine them with the actual stats, and see what Pokemon are really making an impact this season.
Hmm.
All right. You got anything else to say before we dive on in?
Nope.
Okay. So the races we're gonna talk about today start off with seventh Mon of the Year.
Oh man.
All right. Let's start with that swole fella on the left right there. So first of all, let's not forget that Pesky was talking some serious smack about ESO drafting Machamp. But Machamp is out here performing at a fairly high level for what has he
Hmm.
been to 3 games?
Yeah, 3 games.
Right, three
Every
games.
Pokemon in 3 games.
He's got one win out of those 3 games, which it is what it is. But he's 4-3. Now that's a Machamp. That's a
That's
Machamp
a
out here doing work.
punchy.
And I think most of that was versus me, but still, that's fairly impressive. I don't think I've ever actually seen Machamp, you know, positive in a league before.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to see if Esso can actually get some good mileage out of this guy. Um,
Yep.
his team can use some of that fighting stab, but I mean, it's not like people are going to come in every week prepping for Machamp. So sneak some
Yep.
fun out of that. On the other side, and it pains me to even acknowledge this thing's existence. If there's one Pokemon I hate, it is Toxapex. I despise this thing. But even I can't deny the greatness of the Toxapex that who was it that it walled the hell out of? Was it Ryder?
Hmm.
Oh, that was awful.
It happens.
It Broker's been using this fairly well since he flipped his team around. Again, three
Hmm.
games, one win. It's 2-2. We saw the offensive picks with the Calm Mind pass in from Levani. I'm sure we'll see some more insane Toxapex sets throughout the season, knowing Roku, but uh, this is one that I'm kind of surprised hasn't been every game. So I don't know if it'll stay in the seventh Mon of the Year competition or not.
Hmm.
I genuinely see it coming more, but
All right.
nonetheless, those are your two competitors.
But at the top right now is a mon that, as someone who is really obsessed with writing and picking up storylines, Gliscor is simply one of, if not the most interesting mon, I think, out of in any race right
Jesus.
now.
That's an understatement.
Because it really is. It is a mon that is top 10 in two of the efficiency rating categories, but has been to three games, is on a 1 in 5 team. It's basically it's God, more basketball, but like if you have the idea of Russell Westbrook and his triple double season, but his team sucks. That's the prime example of Gliscor right now.
It's Russell
Is
Westbrook without the shooting, though. It doesn't score.
exactly. Exactly. It's Gliscor is simply, I think it's definitely gonna probably come to more than 6 games. But right now at its 3 games brung, it is extremely valuable. It is a great wall. It brings offensive pressure.
Hmm.
Really struggles to die, which is I think kind of a benefit of it only coming 3 games.
Yeah.
Because if it came to more games and with how Ryder's season is going right now, I think it would have died a lot more. Um, and that's just it's a mon that is playing unnaturally well right now, and I'm super duper duper excited to see how the season continues for Gliscor because
Yes, sir.
it's on the upswing. It's on the upswing.
And this is the perfect mon to kind of epitomize what we were saying about stats not
Yeah.
being the only impact. Because again, Glasscore is 3-1, 3 games brought, 1 game won, and it's 0-2. But its stats and its story, that sound. Uh, I think one thing that you're going to see a trend on for the defensive mons, I noticed this when we were putting this together, is hidden power being gone
Yep.
has a lot of effect on some of these. Glass scores here, there's a couple other 4 times weak mons without the hidden power. It's really, really interesting. So I think next is offensive.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, in the running for Offensive Mon of the Year, as of right now, the 3 leaders are, as you see,
Mega Dancy, Melmetal, and Dragapult.
oof. All
So
right.
let me get started with the Diamond Queen. The I believe second place in kills right now. I don't have the stat sheet pulled up.
Yes. 12. It's
Yeah.
only behind Dragapult by 1 kill.
Oh, okay. Astounding. So
Or
Mega
1 death,
Diancie.
rather.
Yeah. Mega Diancie is definitely a mon that usually is on a lot of people's radar offensively, but normally doesn't live up to its potential because generally it's quote unquote squishy, even though it has base 100 plus defense. It's like not, it's fast. It's definitely fast. It
115.
hits hard, but it's like a lot of people are saying coverage sometimes, just a lot of different things holding it back. Well, when you put Mega Diancie with a coach that is undefeated, it's really hard to deny how impactful the Mon is because Mega Diancie has been ripping people to shreds if they aren't properly prepared for it. And even if when they are properly prepared for it, sometimes it's just not enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
High kill stat, high damage, it's just so problematic right now.
I think a lot of the benefits of Nerd's team, which I remember at the beginning of the season, the mods were talking about how it just didn't feel like he had any real breakers. Um, but with the slow bro being played the way it is, the Scizor being played the way it is, I mean, he's doing a really great job of putting Diancie in a spot where he can clean without having to worry about lacking that full breaking potential or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, of course, him drafting one of the 2 big bullet punch users is really beneficial for it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Whew.
And I wonder how crazy Mega Diancie would be if it got Queenly Majesty.
Oh God. Oh dear God.
Random thought. That would be terrifying.
I'm scared.
Moving on though. The big nut. All right. Melmetal is a mon that I had to do a little bit of convincing for, but not a lot, because this is a mon that, when it comes to kills, is lower than some oddballs, but in the end, it is a mon that is pumping out high amounts of damage. It is a mon that is adding just so much pressure to matches. It is just forcing teams to prepare for it in a way that they don't prepare for other mons. Melmetal is a big thing that just hits super freaking hard, and it's focused on whacking you with its giant nuts and making sure that you understand the type of danger that it comes with.
Yeah, as he said, I had to be convinced a little bit, but the more I look into the the less apparent stats for this thing, it looks like it definitely is, like you said, putting a lot of pressure on opponents every week that it comes. You know, ignoring the slight bit of luck in its most recent game. It's it's been a very solid offensive bring every week,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was Slick or Ghost.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. All right, and then, well, I don't think we really have to explain a whole lot about this guy, but sitting on top of the offensive race is the current kill leader. Um, Unfortunately, due to Alder's inability to be good at the game, it is not the top damage dealer. Although that's not completely Alder's fault. I just
Yeah.
why is Sweeney on top? Alder, why? Nonetheless, Dragapult's out here, 12 kills, 2 deaths, I believe, if I got that right. It is on the second best team in the Space Division, which honestly, those two teams, the top two teams in that division, are insane. And I think both of them
Mm-hmm.
are legitimate championship contenders, depending on playoff
Yeah,
matchups. But
definitely.
I think the most impressive thing about Dragapult is that, if I'm not mistaken, Hazy's team is the only team in the league where multiple Mons have double digit kills. Because Corviknight has 10.
Whew.
And of course, most of Corviknight's kills come from the game against Broku, where it just set up. But the fact that Dragapult still has, you know, 12 kills and 2 deaths when there's another double
Mm-hmm.
digit Mon on the team, it shows just how dominant this thing really is. And Hazy's playing it amazingly every week. Um,
Yeah.
I, it's this thing. I don't. How do you prep for it? I was looking at the stats.
You.
The thing is
I
fast.
don't know. It's dead fast.
Yeah,
Really fast. Hits super hard.
right.
Astounding coverage.
Do we
It's a
know if it's going to
danger.
get Poltergeist with the DLC? Do we know if it's getting that?
If it does, I think it'll be a top three pick. I don't see any
Absolutely.
reason why not.
So that's the one thing it's really missing is it can't go fully physical without that. Like it still can, but it's just not the same. You know,
I
Phantom
mean,
Force is the best thing it's got. But
yeah.
either way, that's your offensive Mon of the Year leaders as of week 6.
Hmm.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these three get it. But there's a couple other Mons that are lurking in the background too. So
Lurking. Top of Lele is a big one that I think is lurking.
if I can actually stop getting it killed, that would be
Yeah,
great.
basically. That's really all you need to do. I'm gonna be
Yeah, it's
honest with
just
you.
stop dying.
Yeah.
And if Manaphy
All
can keep
right.
up its hot streak. But I think next up we have uh, one of the
Mm-hmm.
closest battles among these awards, defensive Mons of the
Yep.
Year.
Oh man, I'm excited to
Yeah,
see who comes out on top here.
for real.
There are a couple mons on the outside looking in. A lot of the mons who have not, I think Mega Audino might actually like slip itself in here. Gliscor
100%.
has a chance. Alamomola, bunch of these great. Aromatisse, I think as well. Um,
If Outer starts turning his season around, Mega Venusaur could be a really hot competitor too.
yep. Corviknight, I think even has a chance to slip in here. It's just a shit show of a race. Let's be honest. It's
Really.
really no idea who kind of escapes here. But kicking it off, Ferrothorn on a
Woo.
rain team. It's kind of it like without the rain team, I think it would be in contention, but it's almost undoubtedly top three with the rain team. It's a mon that has benefited largely from HP fire being gone from the game.
Yep.
It's a mon that benefits largely from having the fire types that can hit it being weakened by the rain, and even then, it is still a stout defender which struggles to die under a lot of circumstances. It does hazards things. It doesn't have reliable recovery, but doesn't really matter when you're taking like 2% every turn. It's just Ferrothorn is very strong defensively. It is just an absolute danger. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it does as Alphabet continues to kind of surge.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm excited for how people will prep for it coming around the second round robin of divisional rounds. I'm just
Oh yeah,
lots of
absolutely.
excitement.
And I'll tell you, I think it was the game versus Scissors, which again, Scissors is the insane hyper offense team with freaking Infernate.
Mhm.
I think it was against him where Ferrothorn just sat there and it didn't budge all game. You know, not a ton of kills, not a ton of it's not all that shiny and spectacular, but it is like you said, it just sits there. It doesn't die. And
Yep.
keeping with the theme of the hidden power nerf being very, very interesting, we've also got my personal draft league crutch, Scizor, up here in the running for Defensive Mon of the Year.
Mhm.
Um, Again, this is the second of Nerds Pokemon that we're going to see after Diancie. Scizor has just been phenomenal. It well,
Yep.
again, without the hidden power fire, you're really kind of forced to run fire coverage on something that gets it. And even then, he's been playing phenomenally with another mon that might be on this
Yep.
list, as you see. So he's got a great coverage or great
Yep.
cover for those fire type moves. Scizor it's got reliable recovery. It's got offensive potential. It's got defog. It's got momentum with U-turn. I mean, it it definitely belongs up here. And again, like you said with Ferrothorn, I think it would be on this list regardless of the hidden power nerf, just because of how well nerds played with it. But
Mhm.
that hidden power being gone, man, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've seen the links people are going to, I specifically remember Broku bringing incinerate Thunderous Therian. Oh my god, that was good.
It
It
was.
was a good bet, right? And it just took Scissor out of the game immediately. It didn't make the game any easier, but it's just showing you the amount of pressure people are feeling to take it out of the
Right,
game.
because
Is
that's
it's
Thunderous Therian, and that move slot could be agility, could be nasty plot, could be coverage, other types, and he had go
anything.
for 50 base power incinerate,
Just astounding.
and even then it didn't knock it out in one shot, But
No, no, it. I'm pretty sure it was one shot.
you think so? I thought it was like 80%. You might be right though.
Yeah,
But either way,
but at top,
oh god,
you top. There was a point where you were describing Scissor. You were like, or you like roost. You turned for momentum, and I was like, wait, Scissor, not Scissor. Slowbro has recover or slack off. I can't remember which one people use. Um, it has teleport now.
oh god.
It has Scald, knockoff. It has utility up and out the ass. It has reliable recovery. It has momentum. This is a Mon that has a good defensive typing. I like now personally, I would have put Ferrothorn at the top spot if it wasn't for like just Nerd being so dominant with
Hmm.
this Mon. Cause like Ferrothorn kind of sits in front of you and it doesn't die. Slowbro sits in front of you, taunts you in your face, scalds you a couple of times, maybe teleport for the BM, and then still doesn't die. It's just
Hmm.
such a just a stalwart of a mon that like unlike with Scizor and Ferrothorn, you can't bring you can't really bring a cheap tactic to kill it. You have to
Oh
kill
yeah.
it through like you have to out damage and kill it. You have to make sure it can't recover back up your damage. You have to chip it down and make sure it dies. You have to set up on it. You can't like get out easily against it.
Hmm.
It's pretty good.
And the most annoying
So
thing about Slowbro is that regenerator. Because
Hmm.
even if you do bring something that chunks it big time, I mean, Nerd just gonna jump right out into Rillaboom or to Scizor or something.
Something that
This thing
will
just
hit
keeps
you.
living. This thing just keeps living.
Yep. That's the wonder of Slowbro, as it is. And I won't say a firm lead. It is in the lead for
Yeah.
defensive Mon of the Year. I think its own teammate could take it. I think if Gliscor comes to more games, it could take it. I think if Almamola, Aromatisse, Megadino, any of those mons kind of step up, Florgus even, any of those mons could take the spot. It's just up to how the season plays out. We've got 6 more games, so whoo-wee, it's gonna be a fun one.
Yes, sir. And finally, the big bad award, the MVP award. We've
Most
got
valuable Pokemon.
we had a hard time kind of narrowing down the top because first of all, I got to fix the calculation on some of the stat
Yeah.
metrics. Um, they're a little bit wonky, but there's a lot of I'd say there's a lot of Pokemon that are kind of they're incredibly important to their team, but nothing is standing out as so dominantly important that like the entire course of fate would be changed without that mod. Is what I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see that by the fact that 3 of Nerd's Mons are here.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
Also, notice we've
It's
already
hard to
mentioned
tell.
five of these.
Yeah.
So you can see what
Pretty.
mods are standing out and doing really well this season, but again, nothing is
Mhm.
just completely sweeping away the lead like NPDA Season 1 Como or anything like that. You know?
Yeah. Ooh.
Alright, so do you want to start or do you want me to
Cool.
start?
I will start with a Mon I have already sung the praises of.
Go ahead.
Gliscor is amazing. I don't know how many times I have to say it for it to permeate in your brain, but it's Gliscor. Now, just stepping away from like the defensive, the seventh Mon of the Year argument, there's most valuable Pokemon is the most valuable Pokemon. I 100% believe if you take Gliscor out of the Istanbul Indiities, that team crumbles
Mm-hmm.
quickly. This Mon is top 10 in 2 different categories that only, I think, what? Scizor and Slowbro are there in DPR, right?
Yeah.
And Gliscor is the only one of these mons that is top 10 in PER, but that calculation is broken. But that's still pretty impressive.
To
Of
be in a
course,
broken calculation, you're still up top.
despite being a broken calculation, it's still there. And it's one of those things where it's not in the lead. It's only been brung to 3 games. How valuable is a Pokemon then? It's been brung to 3 games. Now it's only been brung to 3 games. Team is 1-5, but you see what I'm saying there. It's a Mon that has incredible impact on its team, and it's just gonna be pretty awesome. I'm gonna be honest with you, pretty sick to see how the rest of the season plays out for this Mon because it is once again, like I said earlier, it's on the upswing. It's playing really good. It's gonna get better.
Yeah, I agree with
All
that.
right.
And with
Yep.
Ryder, he has seen some unfortunate circumstances in a couple matches, and I think he himself mentioned he's been a little bit busy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope to see him rebound a little bit. Um,
Great.
so, next I will touch on yet another thing we've already spoke of. Scizor. Once again, it's been phenomenal all season. Nerd's playing it incredibly well. It brings everything you would want, really, in a defensive slash bulky offensive slash supportive mod. Um, he's I haven't seen it go off with a sword stance sweep yet, but it's only a matter of time. Um,
Only a
yeah,
matter of time.
Scizor again not leading this pack, but definitely in contention, and will probably stay in contention, seeing how
Mm-hmm.
Nerd's been playing. So
Whew. Slow bro. I think it's kind of in MVP races, you're kind of looking for the most well rounded Mon. And I mean, the past 2 months you talked about, Gliscor has some offensive pressure it can provide. Scissor has some offensive pressure it can provide. Now, I wouldn't say offensive pressure. Now, mental pressure from a Slowbro sitting in front of your face and clicking Calm Mind and
oh
knowing that you
god,
can't do too much about it, that's there.
yeah,
It's definitely it's a quote unquote two-way mon. It can provide on both sides of the spectrum. So it's going to be really exciting to see how the season continues. It's obviously already a defensive stalwart. It's and once again, I'm just saying you take and it's weird because if you take away Scizor, then Slowbro has to kind of work harder against dark types. If you take away Slowbro, Scizor has to work harder against fire types. If you take away Mega Diancie, that team needs more offensive power. So
Hmm.
that's kind of like it kind of justifies the three most valuable Pokemon because they're Pokemon that are pretty valuable to each other's
Oh,
success.
absolutely. They make that team. They really do.
Yeah, they really do.
Because I mean, you look
I
at that
think,
roster. What else is bringing the offensive pressure? I
oh no,
guess Rillaboom.
Rillaboom, brother. Oh.
Rillaboom's been really good. I'm impressed by that one.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right, moving on to the dragon.
Right, right. So I would put this out there. If there were, front of the pack of these six, I'd say it's between Slowbro and Dragapult. Just
Mm-hmm.
sheerly because, again, Dragapult providing that much offensive pressure, that much firepower on a team where something else has, double-digit kills. Nothing else in that team has more than three. You might be stat padding, might just be this thing's sheer dominance. I don't know, but I think Hazy's success looks a little bit different without this thing there, um, and I assume
Mm-hmm.
that it will probably end this season as the kill leader. That's my bet. Um,
Yeah, I
I
would bet on
really do
that.
think that. So definitely the only one of the six here that is, solely reliant on one side because again, Diancie mainly about that offense, but like you said, it's got that three-way going with Scizor and Slowbro that brings more value
Mm-hmm.
to it. So you want to talk about the
Funnily enough,
Diancie?
yeah, I think just before I get into Diancie, funnily enough, I think Dragapult and Slowbro, I think Pult is so offensively dominant, it might be one of the few mons. I think it's really just Pult and Bro are probably the only two mons I'd say out of these six that is like actually like head and shoulders above the competition.
Amen.
I think they're actually so good in their respective areas that it's kind of hard to deny that anybody's really competing with them. While I do, getting into Mega Diancie, I do think Mega Diancie can catch up to Pole.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the pressure is there, the power is there, the ability to kind of be aggressive. It lacks the ability to smoothly pivot in the smooth like. It kind of has to chop up momentum to make a switch happen because all of the momentum that's on that team. I mean, Rillaboom, Rotom Heat, Slowbro, Scizor, like the amount of momentum on that team makes up for the fact that Mega Diancie is the offensive stalwart with no momentum,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that's just what's so amazing about that team. It's well rounded. It's pretty great. So it's super exciting to see if like will Mega Diancie catch up the pole? Will Pole just kind of zoom in front of Slowbro too? Will it just what will happen with these mons as they continue on in the season? Because it's going to be super duper interesting. It's just interesting is the main word I'm trying to say here. It's going to be awesome.
That it
I
is. And finally, the last mon in the MVP conversation right now is
think the dark
Suicune,
horse.
which people might raise some eyebrows at this, but if you weren't already raising your eyebrows at 0 and 2
Yeah,
glue score, then you clearly haven't been
yeah. I
listening.
don't know what you're doing.
Suicune is the most winningest mon in the league right now. Um, it has the highest win percentage of any mon that has been to every game. And yes, it does have a lot of deaths, but it's been incredibly just solid for Nala. It's not really standing out like any of these other mons are in their respective areas. It's just been that solid, meaty thing. I mean, it's Suicune. It does what it does. We all know what it does. Um,
Hmm.
and I think looking at not nerd Nala's team, and how solid it is, having that bulky Suicune there to complement the Mega Scizor, and it's just it's been good for him, and I think it'll
Yep.
continue to be good for him. I don't think it'll finish as the MVP unless we just see some phenomenal Suicune play out of him for the rest of the season. But it's been very, very solid.
Hmm. Agreed. Big agree. I think Suicune is definitely the dark horse of this race, even with 0-2 Gliscor. I think especially in the especially in the most valuable conversation, I definitely think there are mons that could be put in the place of Suicune while they wouldn't put out the same like pressure, the oh shit, I'm about to lose to Crocun. Oh no, my offensive sweeper got roared out. And then not all of the bulky waters right now are doing that, but there are plenty of mons that are applying the that are kind of providing the same thing to a team. You know, Melodic provides the phasing and the bulky water aspect. You
I
know,
think my Lodic's a
Cybercode.
free agent. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, nobody's got my
Um,
Lodic. What?
wow. Okay. Um, And then you have, if you want more of an offensive punch on your bulky water type, Seismitoad, I think, has been like gotten the biggest glow up of usefulness in the league format. And Smogon, it's just for some reason it's very, very important now, probably because Gastrodon's gone.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Um, then it's kind of like Suicune's quote unquote replaceable,
Hmm.
so it's just a mon. It's definitely gonna have to just show more as the season goes on. Because I definitely don't think it's completely out of the question for Suicune to win, but it's also not out of the question for Suicune to win, as it is not out of the question that, like, I don't know, fucking Megalodino could win. Like, that's
Yeah.
both of those things are possible.
Yeah. Which I hate to admit.
Yeah, hey, not exactly super excited about that one. Same goes for Tapu Fini,
Yeah.
Manaphy, Deoxys defense. I don't know.
Which again, to make sure that everyone listening understands, the reason that Audino, Manaphy, and Fini are not on this list is because of the fact Manaphy's only been in 2 games.
Yeah.
Audino and Fini, most of their kills came from some questionable performances, shall we say. Audino has, I think, 3 kills to his name now. Um, but we're not going to talk about them. Now, if we see more just good production out of Audino, then it
Oh
definitely
yeah.
has a shot, I think. And if Fini continues to be like this and stays in the lead of, like, offensive mod, we may talk about it, which I don't
Yeah.
want to, but considering it's on a hyper offense team and it is the leading killer, we might have to acknowledge it at some point.
At some point. Not now, but at some
Not
point.
now, but yeah, that is all we've got for today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for watching. Like this little message right here says, these are not set in stone. This is a race. We are simply talking about where things are right now, giving you guys an
Mm-hmm.
idea of what mons are in the running. Nate may provide some, updates along the way with his PRs if he feels
Yep.
like it. I, of course, am going to be maintaining stats for the rest of the season. And do you think we'll announce this before or after the championship, regular season awards?
Depends. If we do it like regular sports, it'll be announced before the playoffs, and then the playoffs will have maybe their own individual awards. Maybe we'll just have a finals MVP or like a playoff MVP. We
Yeah,
don't know, but
yeah. We
anything can
will
end up happening.
we'll get that information back out to you guys once we've decided on it. So, thank you for watching.
Yeah, and thank you for watching.
Bye.